Meeting of the Board of Trustees of the California State University, please come to order. Ms. Matthews, please call the roll.
Trustee Adamson.
Present.
Trustee Arambula.
Here.
Trustee Clark.
Present.
Trustee Day. Trustee Fagan.
Here.
Trustee Furstenberg.
Here.
Trustee Fong.
Here.
Chair Kimball.
Here.
Interim Chancellor Kester.
Present.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis.
Present.
Trustee Linares.
Presente.
Trustee Lopez.
Present.
Trustee McGrory, Governor Newsom. Trustee Ortiz-Morfitt.
Here.
Trustee Reyes. Here. Trustee Rodriguez.
Here.
Speaker Rendon. Trustee Sebelius.
Over here.
Trustee Simon. Trustee Steinhauser. Superintendent Thurman. We have a quorum.
It is now time for the board to consider the items listed on today's consent agenda. All of the committee items requiring full board approval are listed on the consent agenda. Does any trustee wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the items listed on the consent agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Ms. Matthews, please take a roll call vote.
Trustee Adamson.
Yes.
Trustee Arambula.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Day. Trustee Fagan.
Yes.
Trustee Furstenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Chair Kimball.
Yes.
Acting Chancellor, Interim Chancellor Kester.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis. Trustee Linares.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee McGrory, Governor Newsom. Trustee Ortiz-Morfitt.
Yes.
Trustee Reyes. Aye. Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Speaker Rendon. Trustee Sebelius.
Yes.
Trustee Simon. Trustee Steinhauser. Superintendent Thurman. The motion passes.
We have 5 action items on the discussion agenda. Our first action item is the approval of the Board of Trustees Standing Committee assignments for 2022-23. This item will be presented by Jack Clark, Chair of Committee on Committees. Please begin, Jack.
Thank you, Chair Campbell. On behalf of the Committee on Committees, today we present the proposed Standing Committee assignments for 2022-2023. First, a brief explanation of how we arrived at this proposal. After reviewing survey results, including the trustees' preferences, we received input from the Chancellor's Office and various members of the Board of Trustees. After considering a variety of factors, the most significant of which are the unique challenges facing the board at this time, a proposed slate was presented to the full committee on April the 28th. The committee unanimously approved the proposed standing committee assignments and now present them to the board for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. The approval of the Board of Trustees Standing Committee assignments for 2022-23 is an action item before the board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Any discussion? Trustee Reyes?
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to make a few comments. One, to celebrate the fact that for the first time ever, there will be a faculty trustee to be a chair of educational policy. So truly, congratulations for getting the chairship on that. I also wanted to make a comment, a side comment about the status of student trustees running for chairship. I am excited to see that in governmental relations that Doug will continue to be chair. However, I know that for years, student trustees like myself have applied to become the chair of that position. And I was wondering, as said in the committee meeting, of when the discussion would be regarding the ability for student trustees to run for chair positions and be considered to be chair.
Did you want to respond?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I can start if you'd like.
Okay, go ahead, Jack.
There was significant discussion of this and other matters as part of, in particular, this year's challenges before the board. I expect, and I've been assured by the Chancellor, that as part of the ongoing evaluation of board policies, as well as the relationship between the CSU Board of Trustees and the Chancellor's Office, that, as well as other issues, would be thoroughly reviewed this year.
This year.
Really, very little to add. The assessment will consider some of the issues that have emerged, including those that you have identified, Trustee Reyes.
I know that I will be terming out of the board, but I will be tuning in to whatever meeting. And so I was wondering an estimated timeline for these recommendations for the policies of the board.
We intend to try to complete this work. There's an aggressive timeline of 6 months. Realistically, we've got 9 to 12.
Okay, thank you.
Antoine, I'd add. I'm sorry.
I want to state for the record that I did attempt to run for the position of Chair of Government Relations because I do have vast experience with chairing a large board that includes campus administration, faculty, the academic senate chair, Cal State Fullerton, and 16 board of directors on top of 6 executive officers. It did not happen for me this time around, but I'm really looking forward to working with Doug as his vice chair. I will be a very supportive and very active vice chair. We'll be in every meeting, very committed to our policies and legislative bills. And I'm also very grateful to the board for giving me the opportunity to run for the position. I think that I would have done an incredible job. I'm confident that I would have done an incredible job. I'm equally excited for this next year. And I would really like to be on the committee on committees next year, as I think I would be a valuable asset to that committee. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? No? All right. Seeing none, please. Yes, I'm sorry.
I just want to congratulate all the new chairs for our committees. I do have a question that actually might pertain to the assessment that we're doing, to potentially open the process when creating the agenda, the chairs and the vice chairs, if those could be open to the rest of the committee members for more knowledge, more information for the entire committee. I imagine that will be assessed during our assessment, but if we could potentially start doing that now, that would be great.
I think that will also be part of the overall assessment, so I don't want to commit to the time frame when those questions will be described and the frameworks will be presented to you, but it will be part of the overall assessment.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to allude to the fact that it would just be more informative for us committee members to have the information ahead of time, and it would be helpful.
Yes.
Just one comment. I do want to recognize, I appreciate and receive the comments being made by the various trustees on this issue. I will say in my role as chair of committee and committees and talking with various trustees, including former officers and chairs of committees, I ran into, not really running into, I encountered, for example, rules of thumb that weren't really written. I'm not saying I necessarily followed them, but there were a lot of ideas and things that had simply occurred and philosophies that were present as a result of the passage of time. And so I want to state to the entire Board of Trustees that I, for one, am very much in favor of what the interim chancellor is going to be doing. I think it's time for us to bring those things out into the open, examine them, and determine whether or not they need to be followed or codified. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Clark. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Ms. Matthews, please take a roll call vote.
Trustee Adamson.
Yes.
Trustee Arambula.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Day. Trustee Fagan.
Yes.
Trustee Furstenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Chair Kimball.
Yes.
Interim Chancellor Kester.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis. Trustee Linares.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee McGrory, Governor Newsom. Trustee Ortiz-Morfit.
Yes.
Trustee Reyes.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Speaker Rendon. Trustee Sebelius.
Yes.
Trustee Simon. Trustee Steinhauser. Superintendent Thurmond. The motion passes.
Our next action item is the election of the chair and vice chair of the Board of Trustees for 2022-23. This item will once again be presented by Jack Clark, Chair of Committee on Committees. Jack?
Thank you again, Chair Campbell. On behalf of the Committee on Committees, we present to you the nominations for the Chair and Vice Chair of the Board for 2022 and 2023. At the April 28th Committee on Committees meeting, Chair Campbell nominated Wenda Fong as Chair and me as Vice Chair. The committee unanimously approved these nominations and now present them to the Board for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. The election
I'm sorry.
The election of the chair and vice chair of the Board of Trustees for 2022-23 is an action item before the board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, I'm not seeing any.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All
When
right.
we review our policies, I also would like this to be more an inclusive selection of the chair so that all the board members can weigh in for future procedures.
Okay. Anyone else? Trustee Adams.
I just want to also indicate that succession is a critically important piece of the leadership here, and that I believe this has to be a more inclusive process moving forward. Thank you.
With the assessment that will be underway, this also will be a topic of discussion, and we will learn all trustees' points of view, plus we will also gather best practices from other systems of higher education.
So I think it's clear everything will be on the table, and we'll be having a lot of robust discussions about many of these issues, or all of
Can I
them,
just make one comment about that?
of course.
I would just note, if this motion passes, I, for one, would be very much in favor, and I will insist upon that process going forward.
Ms. Matthews, please take a roll call vote.
Trustee Adamson.
Yes.
Trustee Arambula.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Day. Trustee Fagan.
Yes.
Trustee Furstenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Chair Kimball.
Yes.
Interim Chancellor Kester.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis.
Aye.
Trustee Linares.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee McGrory. Governor Newsom. Trustee Ortiz-Morfit.
Yes.
Trustee Reyes.
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Speaker Rendon. Trustee Sebelius.
Yes.
Trustee Simon. Trustee Steinhauser. Superintendent Thurmond. The motion passes.
It is now my pleasure to introduce two conferrals this afternoon, recognizing the devoted service of colleagues who are moving on to new chapters in their lives. I should note that a third conferral, honoring retiring CSU Monterey Bay President Eduardo Ochoa, has been postponed until our July meeting, since President Ochoa is unable to be with us today. We look forward to paying tribute to him at that time. Now I will introduce each conferral, call for a motion, and then invite congratulatory remarks from the board before we hear from final comments from Interim Chancellor Kester and the honorees. First is the conferral of the title of Trustee Emerita on Jane Carney. I see her over there. Jane, after a long and successful career practicing corporate and business law and countless hours serving the Inland Empire community as a volunteer and activist, most would be seeking a tropical vacation. Instead, you set your sights even higher and devoted yourself fully to the betterment of our university and the students we serve. Our board and our system have gained immeasurably from your intellect, wisdom, and insights, all delivered with your signature kindness and elegance. Thank you. The conferral of the title of Trustee Emerita on Jane Carney is an action item before the board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Before we vote, if there are any trustees who would like to offer brief remarks, I welcome them at this time. Okay, so Maria, Jack, Wenda, start with this side.
Thank you. Jane, thank you for affirming me as a student parent and reminding me how important my voice as a woman and student parent are for the CSU. You have always been supportive and inspiring. After I gave my introduction speech in September, after being newly appointed to the Board of Trustees, you were the first person to reach out to me to tell me how proud I should be to be where I am, even though I'm doing it as a student parent with 3 children, and it's not easy. You then shared your own experiences. Thank you for being vulnerable. Jane, as I have said to you before, I'm going to miss you being on the board, and I'm sad that we did not get to serve together longer than 10 months. I appreciate the knowledge you have shared with me and look forward to building our friendship. The CSU was very lucky to have your expertise and passion.
All right. Jack?
So I happen to be from the Inland Empire, and it's hard for me to convey to this august board what an icon she is in our region. And in that regard, I wanted to share just a brief portion of an article that was recently written about her in the context of her serving as a president of the Riverside County Bar Association. Excuse me just one second. The article is entitled RCBA President 1989, a trailblazing centerpiece of the Riverside legal community. In 1989, when Jane Carney was president-elect of the Riverside County Bar Association, she took a lead role in requiring the group then known as the Lawyers' Wives Club to change its name to the Lawyers Alliance. Since at that time, to state what was not has been the obvious to all, and that was lawyers' spouses were not all wives. In retaliation, the club boycotted her inauguration, refusing to provide the centerpieces as they had for past inaugurations for the male RCBA presidents. This is an anecdote that sums up Jane Carney well. She is a leader. She's going to be on the front of social justice and political issues, and probably not going to get flowers. The article finished by describing her this way: tireless, sharp, dedicated, passionate, and brilliant, Jane Carney does not need centerpieces because she's a centerpiece of Riverside's legal community. And I would note in closing, obviously when I was appointed, I called Jane up for some advice. And her advice to me was clear and succinct, as she always is. She said, "Jack, take it seriously." That's Jane Carney, and I intend to do so. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jack. Trustee Fong and then Trustee Furstenberg.
Well, dear Jane, I certainly have enjoyed serving with you, especially on the Fresno State Presidential Search Committee, which you chaired, and also as your vice chair of the Committee on Campus Planning, Buildings, and Grounds. You are an excellent trustee. You are dedicated. You are thoughtful, prepared, an incredible, great listener, kind, caring, serious, wise, but always ready with that wonderful, great laugh of yours. So thank you so much for your incredible service to our board, to the CSU, and always with the North Star of our students in your heart and mind. So thank you so much.
Not easy to go after Jack and Linda. Jane Carney, it has been an honor to sit at this table with you. You are a role model. You clearly have been doing this for decades. And those of us lucky enough to serve with you understand why. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you to my colleagues for their heartfelt remarks. I have a motion and a second. Ms. Matthews, please take a roll call vote.
Trustee Adamson.
Yes.
Trustee Arambula.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Absolutely.
Trustee Day. Trustee Fagan.
Yes.
Trustee Furstenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Chair Kimball.
Yes.
Interim Chancellor Kester.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis.
Aye.
Trustee Leonatus.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee McGrory, Governor Newsom. Trustee Ortiz-Morfitt.
Yes.
Trustee Reyes.
Absolutely.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Speaker Rendon. Trustee Sebelius.
Yes.
Trustee Simon. Trustee Steinhauser. Superintendent Thurman. The motion passes.
Jane?
Although I have not had the good fortune to have worked closely with Trustee Carney, this board and the CSU more broadly have clearly benefited from her keen intellect and extraordinary analytical skills. Jane, you are so well regarded by your colleagues for your ability to cut through the noise, and I think there's been a lot of that, to identify the core issues of a topic and to work to resolve them with remarkable focus and admirable determination, often with a sharp wit and welcome humor, and always with great respect for your fellow trustees. In addition to your extraordinary work on this board, you have been a longstanding and respected community leader in California's Inland Empire, a tireless champion of education, an advocate for civil rights, social mobility, and equity in all of its dimensions. Jane, your work will continue to positively impact many thousands of Californians for decades to come, and you leave the CSU a more vital and effective university system for your service. Thank you very much. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much, and thank you for your really kind remarks. You know, I always say serving on the CSU board is the best public service opportunity in the state of California, and I believe that, and I feel very, very fortunate to have been able to serve on this board. And as a Raiders fan, I just have to take a moment to celebrate the commitment to excellence in this room. From the Board of Trustees, the members of the Chancellor's Office, our fabulous presidents, the people who show up from the campuses meeting after meeting to speak during the public comments section of our agenda, the ASCSU, the CSSA. You know, this commitment to excellence, to the mission and the values of the CSU is what makes this a great institution. The Mercer people mentioned it again this morning. You know, we're committed to our students. And on the Board of Trustees, sometimes we disagree. Sometimes you disagree kind of strongly. But I never, ever, for a moment, question the motives or the goals of any member of the Board of Trustees, because we're here about the students. And at the risk of missing people, and I don't want to, but I just have to mention a little more of the excellence that's represented in this room and by the people who are usually in this room. We saw again today what Vice Chancellor Evelyn Nazario can do and the Office of General Counsel. They're very good. I've often talked about the reinvigoration that Vlad has brought to the audit function of the CSU. And Dr. Alva and her team, their new approach for achieving the graduation initiative goals is really wonderful. And then on my way out the door, I just have to, again, celebrate the wonderful work of Steve Relier, Vi San Juan, Robert Eaton, and Ryan Storm, because I've served on the finance and the campus planning, buildings, and grounds committees the entire time I've been on the board. I've worked a lot with them. And I've been on other special committees and task forces and things like that in which they've been involved. They are a valuable asset to the CSU, and I thank them for their brilliance and their commitment. So this has been a great ride. I'll be cheering you on from my armchair as a citizen. And good luck in addressing the serious problems, but the great opportunities also that face the CSU. Thank you.
I think we have to unmask for the photo. Just hope neither of us are positive around you.
Oh, pretty sure. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for that fitting tribute. Jane, you have our lasting respect and appreciation. Our next action item is the conferral of the title of Student Trustee Emerita on Crystal Reynes. Crystal, I am always so impressed by the maturity, wisdom, and eloquence of our student trustees, but none more than you. With passion, persistence, and a steady eye on your moral compass, you have fearlessly taken on the toughest of topics to drive progress on behalf of your fellow students and the world we all share. I will certainly miss your spirit and good humor, and I can't wait to see what you conquer next. The conferral of the title of Student Trustee Emerita on Crystal Reynes is an action item before the board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Before we vote, if there are any trustees who would like to offer brief remarks, I welcome them at this time. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd just like to start it off by recognizing the commitment, the hard work, the ability to go through an enormous amount of material and figure out where the salient parts are, where your input and your experience can make a difference on this board. And I think that it's pretty clear that your journey in leadership is really just beginning, and the best is yet to come. So thank you very much for your service, and I'm sure we will be seeing a lot of you in the future.
Trustee Fagan.
Well, I can't say it better than the Lieutenant Governor. She summarized everything. So, but I must say, and having worked with Crystal now on the committee on governmental relations, Crystal is just amazingly tenacious and coming up with ideas and demands for more information and suggesting meetings. And I think we saw it in the discussion today where she came up with statistics and things. That, I don't know where she got those things. She's researching this stuff and really knows her stuff. So as with the Lieutenant Governor, I agree. We're anxious to see what happens next, and congratulations, and go get them.
Trustee Fong.
Well, Crystal, you are the pride of Bakersfield and and even Palm Desert when you were there as well. And also you are the pride of your Filipino community, and certainly in the attire that you're wearing. It's just, you wear it so beautifully. And I have to just say, your priority has been first and foremost for our students. And you are fully committed, you are student focused, and you are a great representative of the students. And as I know that the rest of my board members feel that, as the Lieutenant Governor said, this is just the beginning of your incredible trajectory, your career. And just to describe you personally for me, that you are just ebullient and you are sunshine. So thank you so much for your service to our board, to the CSU, and to our students.
Trustee Clark?
So for me, I want to be brief in terms of what I would say. As far as I'm concerned, your success is assured. I had the opportunity to speak with you in particular the last several months. I've been so impressed by your analytical ability, your attention to detail, your being prepared at all times. A person with your profile, you cannot help but succeed. I so look forward to hearing so many wonderful things about you after this, and thank you so much for the input you've given to me in this process as I've tried to get up to speed from this Board of Trustees. And God bless your journey as you go ahead.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Trustee Raines, I am in awe of you. I have learned so much from you. I feel like, although it's been the 8 months that I've served on this board, visiting the 3 campuses that we visited together was just so tremendous. I saw how you connected so well with all of the stakeholders and just made sure that students' voices were lifted. And thank you for that. I know that you are going to do incredible things. You're doing incredible things now. And we are only going to be better in this state with you as one of our leaders. Thank you for everything that you've done, and adelante.
Trustee Linares?
I prepared something. Crystal, there isn't anything I can say today that I did not say to you 401 times already. All of my social media followers know how I feel about you, all 2 of them. I post about you all of the time, and this is because you have made such a positive impact in my life. I know with you, I can be myself, and you will embrace me, even the part of me that causes good trouble. You have been an inspiration in my life, which is why I hope you consider running for office one day. It would be an honor helping you run your campaign. Or we can run together too, and I can be your lieutenant governor when you are elected governor. Most people in this room do not know everything that I have been through this past year. It has been the hardest year of my entire life. But you have been there every step of the way. You even went as far as to offer me your home when I thought I would become homeless with my 3 kids last fall. When I experienced abuse, you took my late night calls, advised me when I needed it, listened to me while I cried, and kept me sane. Thank you for being the most incredible senior student trustee mentor. You have been my therapist, my voice of reason, but most importantly, you will be my sister for life. Congratulations on your recent graduation, your Sacramento Capital Fellowship, and being accepted into one of the best private universities in the U.S. I still can't pronounce the name of the school. You are more than ready for grad school. Additionally, and to conclude, Sacramento will be very lucky to have you. Go conquer the world, Emeritus Trustee Raines.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Ms. Matthews, please take a roll call vote.
Trustee Adamson.
Well, no, yes.
Trustee Arambula.
Absolutely yes.
Trustee Clark.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Trustee Day. Trustee Fagan.
Yes.
Trustee Furstenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Chair Kimball.
Yes.
Interim Chancellor Kester.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis.
Aye.
Trustee Linares.
Claro que sí.
Trustee Lopez.
See,
Trustee Ortiz-Morfit?
Yes.
Trustee Reynes?
Yes,
Trustee Rodriguez?
of course.
Trustee Speaker Rendon? Trustee Sebelius?
Yes.
Trustee Simon? Trustee Steinhauser? Superintendent Thurmond? The motion passes.
The item is unanimously approved. Crystal, would you please join me and Chancellor at the podium? Interim Chancellor Kester would like to say a few words.
Crystal, while we've only recently met, your reputation obviously preceded you. It's the reputation of a leader, someone who has so ably and with courage, grace, and conviction represented the voice of CSU's students. Your service on this board, and especially the leadership role you took in pushing for the expansion of CSU's anti-discrimination policy to include caste, and passionately advocating for this board's decision to transition out of fossil fuel investments, will have a positive impact that spans many years. As I said yesterday, I'm impressed that you traveled and visited all 23 CSU campuses within the past year, despite the challenges of the pandemic. It's that commitment and dedication that has made you such a vital and valued member of this board. And that commitment and dedication will ensure your success, as your colleagues have noted several times today, in all that you do coming next. Thank you, Crystal, for your outstanding service. And of course, if I didn't also say, congratulations on your graduation. Would you like to share a few words with us?
Hello, everybody. Hold your hats because I have more than a few words to share with you. So first, good morning, everybody. As the first female Asian student trustee, I would love to wish you a happy AAPI Heritage Month. Before I begin my remarks, some thank yous. First, to my mom, who is the first in her family to have the audacity to move here to the States all by herself and provide me with these opportunities. Dr. Kip Glazer, who taught me that higher education was the way out. Ilaria Pesco, the executive director of ASI at CSUB, who connected me with emergency housing, the food pantry, and mental health services. Dr. Zelazny, who supported me in my leadership development and wrote all of my letters of recommendation for all of the positions I ever applied to. Chris Willett, Brendan Subaki, Hannah Bragstad, Mary Washington, and Jeannie Tran Martin for investing in me on a statewide level as I served at CSSA. And to all the vice chancellors, for especially Steve, Evelyn, and Dr. Alva, for allowing me to advocate for students, especially during those one-on-one meetings, and implementing policy changes and say that you heard me. And Trustee Maria Linares, who is an incredible leadership partner, as we navigated this turbulent year together. You will be an amazing senior trustee. And most importantly, my boyfriend, who made sure I ate, I slept, I studied, and felt supported every day. I wanted to take a tiny section to highlight 3 people that aren't talked about as much, but I think that they deserve a standing round of applause. Shannon, Michelle, and Danielle. Can you please stand up? These women have been the backbone of all the work that we do at the board, sending us emails, working through my 23 campus visits in a year. With that comes all of the receipts, always on call for travel emergencies, and just general support to making sure that the student trustees transition in those first few months. Thank you. Now for the actual speech. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your student trustee for the past 2 years. It has been a turbulent 2 years, to put it lightly. To give you context, my interview was with the governor's office 2 days after we shut down for the pandemic. My first ever meeting was interviewing who would become the next chancellor. And my last meeting is welcoming Jolene to bring healing to a system that definitely needs it. I only have a few more gray hairs, but it's been worth it. 3 asks I have for the board, the president, and those in the audience watching today. 1, realize that faculty and staff success means student success.
My first campus visit was at San Jose State. And the academic senate there, if Trustee Romy Sebelius's candid remarks doesn't give you any indication about how bold the faculty are at San Jose State, they talk to me candidly about the realities of living in that region. They talked about how these people with PhDs have to rent in multifamily homes because they could not afford buying a house or renting it on their own. They talked about how they have to use the food pantry themselves. Students at that campus recognize this and cite that the professors that work multiple jobs are unable to make office hours or provide the rich mentorship opportunities because they are also fighting to survive. More recently, I visited Cal Poly SLO. There is an amazing student affairs staff professional who has been there for decades. A donor at this campus said, "This woman saved my life." She currently lives in a trailer near the campus, but she still shows up with a smile on her face to support students who need it the most. One more story. My campus at Bakersfield. My campus advocate who lovingly connected me with resources after I went homeless after an abusive relationship. I was actually part of her hiring committee, and she is a product of the CSU, Monterey Bay to be specific. However, she is moving to Cornell because there was no room for growth at her job. Overall, the system that supports our students is suffering. It is tragic and heartbreaking to see these stories again and again throughout the state. I would not be here again without staff in Bakersfield's basic needs team, but I'm not the only one. First, realize that faculty and staff success means student success in the classroom, in mentorship, and in human kindness. Second, listen to student voices before decisions are made. My president, maybe I'm a little biased, has the ASI president on her speed dial. I think that is wonderful practice. Before she makes a decision, she consults with the student and truly considers their feedback before the decisions are made. She has regular meetings with ASI, both formal and informal, and also regularly attends meetings to give reports. To the board and chancellor, please keep in contact with CSSA on a regular basis. To the trustees, when you go to campus visits, ensure that you meet with ASI, ask them what resolutions they're working on, and ask them about how working with their president is like. Chancellor and vice chancellors, I hope that there is at least one or two students in the room when it comes to critical committees for things like changes in educational policy. With my time at CSSA and on the board, I realized that there can be work done strengthening those relationships in all levels. I am fully aware that all the requests that students like myself make cannot be fulfilled. I wish everything could be in a perfect world. However, in those instances, thoroughly explaining the rationale behind your decisions makes a world of difference to your constituents. But I pose to you one question. Is the rationale because we have always done it? I commend Trustee Jane Carney because she did an excellent job in questioning the status quo and asking why. Why can't it be done? Third, fight for the system because we are in a moment of crisis. Title IX, salary crises, crumbling infrastructure, and a loss of confidence. If it is not the time to act and make better or invest in the CSU, when is? We need to fight for the generations of dreams that we provide for CSU students. We have all either become a student or got a job in the CSU because of the mission of the CSU. I look to the board and the presidents to open the table to constituents to get their honest input and to continue working on reinvigorating the trust. We need to uphold our mission. We need to continue providing opportunities for students, especially our Californian students of color. We need to be arm in arm at the Capitol, asking the legislature for a fully funded budget. Without it, the CSU cannot keep serving the students with the dignity that they deserve. I want to conclude by saying that there is so much work to be done. Excuse me, as I borrow a Dr. Collins colloquialism. I'm reminded of a quote. Quote, "In the face of impossible odds, people who love this country can change it." end quote, from Barack Obama. I'm reminded of this because we have a shared love for the mission of this system, but there are flaws. If we love this system, we must be able to be brave enough to speak up and listen to those that we serve. We need to respect each other and work hard to continue supporting basic needs programs, the faculty, the staff that support students like me. I hope to see you all in the Capitol someday, working to fully fund the CSU. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you all for that lovely and well-deserved tribute. Crystal, we can't wait to see what your future holds, and we know your future will be bright. On that bittersweet note, but with the very best wishes for our honorees, this concludes the business of the May 2022 meeting of the Board of Trustees. The board will reconvene for its next scheduled meeting on July 11th through the 13th, 2022. Notice of the meeting will go out in the ordinary due course 10 days in advance of the meeting. And for the final time, I hand it over to Chair Tabi Fong. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And I just wanted to say to Chair Kimball, thank you so much for your service in these past 2 years, which have been challenging to say the least. And you have served with grace, with courage, and with strength. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, Linda.